Imagine standing in the security line at O'Hare or LAX this morning. It is January 2026, and you are carrying the same rolling suitcase you have used for the last 5 years. You know the drill, or at least you think you do. You have your liquids in a clear bag, your laptop is ready to come out, and you have made sure your belt is off. But as you reach the front, the TSA agent doesn't just look at your ID. They point you toward a new, glowing archway that looks more like a high-tech medical scanner than a luggage rack.
You place your bag on the belt, and within 3 seconds, a red light flashes. A digital screen informs you that your bag is 3/4 of an inch too wide for the new 2026 federal standard. And because your bag weight exceeds 15 pounds, you are being hit with a $60 oversized processing fee that must be paid before you can pass the checkpoint. This is the reality of the TSA Modernization and Standardization Act of 2026. For the first time in history, the TSA is no longer just checking for what is inside your bag. They are officially regulating the physical dimensions and weight of the bag itself. And if you are still packing like it is 2024, you are about to have a very expensive morning. For decades, the size of your carry-on was a private matter between you and your airline. If the gate agent was having a good day, you could usually squeeze a slightly overstuffed bag into the overhead bin without a word. But the chaos of the last few years, with record-breaking travel numbers and constant bin space wars, led to a quiet but massive shift in federal policy. As of January 1st, in 2026, the TSA has taken over the role of dimension enforcement. The logic from the Department of Homeland Security is that non-standard bags slow down the X-ray process, causing physical strain on agents during manual inspections, and contribute to terminal congestion. To solve this, they have installed AI-powered volumetric scanners at every major airport in the country. These machines use LiDAR and computer vision to measure your bag to the millimeter. There is no more arguing with an agent. The machine simply won't release your bag to the sterile area until the compliance fee is settled or the bag is sent back to the check-in counter to be officially checked. This change is part of a broader initiative to turn the airport experience into a touchless and seamless journey. But for the average traveler, it feels like a massive new tax on mobility. The core theme of 2026 is precision. We are moving away from the era of roughly 2 inches and into the era of strictly 55 centimeters. If your wheels or your handles stick out even slightly past the frame, the 3D scanners will catch it. This has created a secondary market for TS8 certified luggage, which features integrated RFID chips that tell the scanner exactly when the bag was made and what its empty weight should be. If you are traveling with legacy luggage, anything bought before 2024, you are effectively a target for these new automated fees. It is a fundamental shift in how we think about packing. And if you want to avoid being the person holding up the line while digging for a credit card, you need to understand the 3 pillars of the 2026 rules: volume, density, and digital compliance. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty of the specific measurements and the new battery caps that are catching everyone off guard, I need to ask you to do something that will save you a lot of headaches this year. If you find this breakdown helpful and want to stay ahead of the curve as these rules continue to evolve, make sure you are subscribed and that you share this with your frequent flyer friends. The 2026 travel landscape is changing almost monthly, and being part of this community is the only way to ensure you don't get hit with a surprise fee that costs more than your actual plane ticket. Information is the only currency that matters at the airport this year, and we are committed to keeping your wallet heavy and your luggage light. Now, let's talk about the first major change: the volumetric cap. For years, the industry standard was a bag that measured roughly 22 by 14 by 9 inches. In 2026, the TSA has officially harmonized this across all domestic carriers to a slightly smaller metric standard. The new limit is 55 by 35 by 23 centimeters. While that sounds like a small change, it is actually a 10% reduction in total volume. Most expandable carry-ons, when unzipped, now immediately triggers a violation. The scanners at the checkpoint are programmed to detect the zest of the bag, meaning any bulging fabric or overstuffed pockets. If the bag doesn't maintain its structural rectangle, it is flagged. The days of squishing your bag into a metal sizer are over because these new sensors don't use physical force, they use light. If the light can pass through the designated clearance zone, you are out of luck. The second pillar is density, and this is where the hidden weight fee comes into play. As of January 2026, the TSA has implemented a health and safety weight limit for all carton items. If your bag weighs more than 18 pounds, roughly 8 kilograms, it is classified as heavy cargo. The TSA argues that heavy bags are a risk to agents who have to lift them for secondary inspections, and a risk to other passengers if they fall from an overhead bin. If your bag is over 18 pounds, you are charged a North Putzer charge of $25. If it is over 25 pounds, it is an automatic rejection from the carried-on program, and you must return to the ticket counter to check it. This is specifically catching people who pack dense items like hardback books, heavy electronics, or multiple pairs of shoes. The 2026 traveler needs to be an amateur physicist, constantly calculating the weight-to-volume ratio of their belongings. This leads us to the most controversial change of the year, Liquid Rule 2.0. We were all promised that the new CT scanners would allow us to keep our liquids in our bags and even bring larger bottles. Well, the technology is there. The policy has actually tightened. In 2026, the TSA has introduced the Digital 311 rule. The new scanners can now measure the exact milliliter count of every liquid, gel, and aerosol in your bag simultaneously. If the total volume of all liquids combined exceeds 1 liter, the bag is flagged. In the past, you could get away with 5 or 6 small bottles as long as they fit in the bag. Now, the computer adds up the volume of your toothpaste, your shampoo, your contact lens solution, and even your lips balm. If the math hits 1,001 milliliters, the machine stops. The abolishment of the liquid rule was a myth. It was actually just replaced by a more precise, automated enforcement system that doesn't care about your excuses. For travelers who carry medical supplies or specialized creams, the 2026 rules have created a medical validation requirement. You can no longer just tell an agent that a bottle is for a medical condition. You now need to have a digital medical waiver linked to your TSA pre-check profile or your real ID. If the scanner detects a large liquid and doesn't see a corresponding medical flag in your digital profile, it triggers a manual inspection. Starting this year, every manual inspection triggered by a non-validated liquid carries a $10 service fee. It is a blatant revenue generator, but the TSA justifies it by saying it encourages travelers to pre-clear their medical needs before arriving at the airport. This is a massive headache for seniors and those with chronic conditions, and it is the primary reason why the resolution lanes at airports are currently seeing 4-hour wait times. Let's talk about the battery cap, because this is the one that is causing the most gate denials. In early 2026, with the rise of high-capacity power banks and the shift towards everything being USB-C powered, the TSA has officially capped the total lithium-ion capacity allowed in a single carton bag. You are now limited to a total of 100 watt-hours across all devices. For reference, a single large laptop battery might be 60 watt-hours, and a high-end power bank might be 30. If you are a tech traveler carrying a laptop, a tablet, a phone, a camera, and a backup battery, you are likely over the limit. The new scanners can detect the density of lithium-ion cells and estimate their capacity. If you are over the limit, the TSA will confiscate the largest battery in the bag. There are no mulligans and no mailing it home at the checkpoint anymore. In 2026, the energy density of your bag is a matter of national security. To navigate this, the 2026 traveler has to be ruthless with their electronics. You need to look for devices with smart power labels that are compliant with the new 2026 standards. If you are still using old, unbranded power banks from 5 years ago, throw them away before you head to the airport. They don't have the internal signatures that the new TSA scanners look for, and they will almost certainly be flagged for high-risk energy profile searches. This is all part of the digital compliance pillar. The government wants every item in your bag to be known and trackable. We are moving towards a future where the TSA knows exactly what brand of socks you are wearing and how many charges are left in your phone before you even walk through the metal detector. Now, I want to pivot to the personal item definition because this is where most people are trying to cheat the system, and the TSA is onto it. In 2026, a personal item is strictly defined by its ability to fit into a secondary scanner that is roughly half the size of the carton scanner. If you are trying to pass off a large backpack as a personal item, the system will now charge you a dual carry-on fee. This fee is often $80 or more. The logic is that personal item abuse is the #1 cause of overhead bin overflow. The TSA has partnered with the airlines to ensure that if a bag doesn't fit under the seat in front of you, measured by a sensor at the gate, it is retroactively charged to your traveler profile. This post-flight billing is a new feature of 2026, where your credit card on file can be charged days after your trip if the sensors on the plane determined your luggage was non-compliant. It sounds like a lot of bad news, but there is a way to beat the system. The 2026 Pro Traveler strategy is built on transparency packing. The TSA has officially released a list of preferred packing cubes that are made of a specific mesh material that is InvesX compliant. If you pack your clothes and items in these specific cubes, the CT scanners can see through them with 19 to 9% accuracy, which significantly reduces your risk score. In 2026, every traveler has a compliance score similar to a credit score. If you consistently pack in a way that is easy for the machines to read, your score goes up, and you are more likely to be selected for green light processing, which bypasses the volumetric and weight checks. If you pack a messy bag with tangled cords and loose items, your score drops, and you will be flagged for full details inspections every single time. This digital traveler profile is the most significant back-end change of the decade. Your passport, your real ID, your pre-check, and your luggage compliance are all linked in a single DHS dashboard. When you scan your boarding pass, the TSA agent sees a color-coded indicator of your reliability. If you are a red traveler because you tried to sneak an oversized bag through in 2025, you are going to have a very hard time in 2026. The system is designed to reward those who follow the rules to the letter and punish those who try to find the gray areas. It is the end of the individualist traveler and the beginning of the systemic traveler. You either fit into the box, literally and figuratively, or you pay the price in time and money. One of the hidden rules of 2026 involves organic materials. With the new high-resolution scanners, the TSA has become much more aggressive about food. Any non-factory sealed organic material, like a sandwich you made at home or a bag of fruit, is now subject to a biological scanning fee. The TSA argues that homemade food is a common way to mask certain types of explosives, and they are using the new technology to force people to buy food asterisk after asterisk they pass security. If you are someone who likes to pack your own snacks to save money, you need to know that in 2026, that free sandwich might cost you a $15 inspection surcharge. It is a direct hit to the budget traveler. but it is being sold as a necessary step in the total security framework. So, how do you prepare for your first flight of 2026? First, you need a digital luggage scale. Don't trust your bathroom scale. It isn't accurate enough for the 2026 18-pound limit. Weigh your bag empty, then weigh it full. If you are at 17 pounds, take something out. You need that 1-pound buffer for the scale variance that the TSA allows. Second, you need to measure your bag from the very bottom of the wheels to the very top of the handle. If it is 56 centimeters, it is too big. You might think 1 centimeter doesn't matter, but in 2026, the tolerance level is 0. If you are non-compliant, you are non-compliant. There is no close enough in the era of AI enforcement. Third, look into modular packing. Instead of one large bag, many 2026 travelers are moving towards split loading, where they carry 2 very small, perfectly compliant bags, one as a carry-on and one as a personal item, rather than trying to max out a single large suitcase. This distributes the weight and reduces the density, making it less likely that the scanner will flag you for a complex search. Also, make sure all your electronics are in a single layer. Nesting your iPad on top of your Kindle on top of your laptop is a guaranteed way to trigger a service fee for a manual bag dump. The machine needs to see each battery clearly to calculate your total watt-hour count. We are also seeing the rise of rental luggage at airports. In 2026, if your bag is rejected at the checkpoint, some airports now offer a swap and fly service. You can pay a fee to rent a TSA certified, perfectly sized bag right there at the security line. You dump your belongings into the rental bag. They ship your non-compliant suitcase back to your home, and you go on your way. It is a brilliant, if expensive, solution to the problem the government created. It shows just how far the industry has gone to monetize the compliance gap. If you don't want to end up renting a suitcase at 5 in the morning, you must do the work now. The final major update for 2026 is the international harmonization. If you are flying to Europe or Asia, these rules are becoming the global standard. The EU has already adopted the TSA's 2026 volumetric limits, meaning the international carry-on size is now the only size that matters. If you buy a bag that is marketed as domestic only, you are setting yourself up for failure the moment you book an overseas flight. In 2026, there is no such thing as a local rule. The world has finally agreed on how small our bags should be, and they've agreed that we should pay more for the privilege of carrying them ourselves. The golden age of the carry-on is officially over. We are moving into the precision age, where every centimeter and every gram is tracked, measured, and taxed. It can feel overwhelming, and it can feel like the joy of travel is being stripped away by a series of digital sensors and federal mandates. But there is a silver lining. If you master these rules, if you pack with the precision of an engineer, you will find that the actual checkpoint time is faster than it has been since the 1990s. The goal of the 2026 system is to get a compliant traveler from the terminal door to the gate in under 10 minutes. If you play the game by their rules, you can breeze through. If you try to fight the system, 2026 will be the most expensive year of travel you have ever experienced. This is a massive shift, and I want to know how you are feeling about it. Are you already looking for a new certified suitcase? Or are you planning to fight the post-flight billing in court? Have you had a red light experience at the TSA already this month? The more we share our experiences, the better we can navigate this new high-tech landscape together. Drop a comment below with your 2026 packing strategy or your biggest frustration with the new density fees. Let's keep the conversation going and make sure no one in this community gets caught at the checkpoint this year. Safe travels, and remember, in 2026, less is truly more.